Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of Monday, October 2nd. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Wood?
Here.
Mayor O'Connor?
Here.
And I guess Alder Holmquist is excused.
Okay. First order of business is the approval of the minutes from the September 18th meeting.
Approval.
I'll second. Any corrections?
Nope.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I don't think there are any appearances. No unfinished business, new business. Item A, consideration of resolution 17-10-2217 approving the 2022 capital improvements program and 2018 capital borrowing. How do we want to handle this? Do we want to go through all the?
Well, no, I was thinking.
Just want to wait for discussion at council.
Yeah, we could just leave it on finance for next time in case we do have something comes up tonight. But,
It's okay with me. Is that?
Yeah,
Can we
you
just table it?
Table it, or
we don't need to table
Or
it.
not
not
even need to
table
do
it.
that. You just no action.
New business.
Okay.
So,
All right, that's fine with me. So we'll move to item 6B, consideration of resolution 17-10-2220, providing for the sale of $4,160,000 in taxable note anticipation notes, series 2017D. Mr. Hautaker.
Yeah, I apologize. I got this on the agenda late. I didn't realize Jeff Blongi told me on Friday we needed to have it on the agenda for Monday because he's planning on borrowing at the next meeting. I was thinking his next meeting was supposed to be the first read. But what this is, so I just handed out a fiscal note, is we're borrowing $4,160,000 a taxable note. It consists of two things here. One, we need money for TIF 9, which is the riverfront. So we have the sewer. We need $2.7 million related to the sewer pipe demolition costs, engineering, some other costs that's been pre-approved by the council, and we need $360,000 worth of capitalized interest because we have no increment coming in, which makes that a total of $3,060,000. And also looking to combine that with a refunding of a 2007 taxable note. The amount left to refund is $1.1 million. The reason why we're looking at refunding this is this note is now callable, so we can refinance this without penalties and interest. The current rates, this was a taxable note. So the current rate back, I guess, 2007 was pretty high. The interest rate was about 5.5 is what our current payments are. 5.5% interest rates on the remaining life of this note. And Jeff estimates refinancing we can bring this down between 2 and 3%, saving an estimated $80,000 over the remaining life of this loan. So we decided to combine this with the borrowing for Riverfront.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah. Does this count against the debt limit?
This does, and this was accounted for during the. It's been accounted for with the numbers in the current proposed budget.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Should we go ahead and vote on this?
I'll move approval.
I can second, correct, Joan?
Yes.
Since Brian is.
And one last thing, this is just the authorization for him to start negotiating
Okay.
that. So I don't know if it started on tonight's agenda, but if you can start that so we can get the authorization so he can start negotiating.
It is started.
Okay.
Yep. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Joan, do I vote too?
Yes.
Aye. Motion passes. Next item C, consideration of resolution 17-10-2218, approval of participation in a Wisconsin Bureau of Transportation safety grant titled Dane Suburban Seatbelt Task Force. Mr. Weigel.
Good evening. Up for your consideration is a seatbelt grant. This grant is starred for immediate action tonight in that it would start approximately October 16th and run through September 30th of 2018. This grant is in conjunction with several other law enforcement agencies in Dane County. The Monona portion is $16,500 to pay for overtime traffic enforcement funding. There's a 25% soft match, which is $4,125, and that could be covered by on-duty personnel assigned to traffic efforts.
Any questions?
Just that there's no budget effect because we did account for this in the 2018 budget, so we always account for the grants. So
Okay,
we have the grant overtime and the grant revenue.
so we're all,
Yeah,
it isn't costing us any more, or-
right.
okay.
I guess, yeah. So when would this, when would it go into effect? Or?
If approved, it could start as early as October 16th.
Did you say it was covered in the 2018 budget?
It- we-
Because it goes through 2018?
Goes through 28, 3/4 has been 18, and the year before it had been just kind of overlapping. So
Okay. All right, any other questions?
No.
Clerk, please call the roll. We need to do that, or?
Alder Wood,
Aye.
Mayor Miller,
Aye.
Mayor Miller.
Mayor O'Connor?
Oh, my God.
Oh.
Mayor O'Connor.
Aye.
Oh.
Motion passes.
Just thought I lightened it up.
Did that on purpose, huh?
Yeah, I meant to do that.
Item 6D, consideration of Resolution 17-10-2219, approval of participation in a Wisconsin Bureau of Transportation Safety Grant titled 2018 Capital Area OWI Task Force. Lieutenant Weigel again.
All right. The second grant is the Capital Area OWI Task Force. Again, it's start for immediate action tonight, as it could start as early as the approval. And the efforts are a nighttime grant focusing on OWI at 6 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. This is in conjunction with 7 other agencies. We are the lead agency, so we do all the stats work, get the money, and then pay out to the other agencies from the state funding. The Monona portion of the funding is $13,500, and again, there's a 25% soft match of $3,375, and that's offset by fringe benefits as well as on-duty efforts.
Okay. Any questions?
A couple. Do we get a larger slice of the grant because we're the lead agency?
A small
Do-
portion.
And then more, I guess, an observation, or a question and observation that on these last 2 items, I think they're in some ways kind of related, that the percentage of fatality or fatal accidents, people not wearing seatbelts, and OWI, which includes drugs as well, right?
Correct.
I believe I read somewhere recently that those are, they are related or correlated, that a lot of people who are under the influence of alcohol or drugs are also not wearing seatbelts.
Generally, bad decision making.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Anything else?
no.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item E, consideration of ordinance 10-17-691 concerning fire and EMS fees. Dan, were you going to talk about that, or?
Planning on it.
Would you like some help there? I can probably.
That would be fine.
Sure.
I read it once, but I'm not prepared.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, it wasn't either. I thought Scott was going to be here, but what do I know? So this is an ordinance. As part of the codification, we are redoing the whole fee schedule, as I said, pulling them out of the books. And one of the fees that we wanted to implement was the ability to charge an ambulance standby fee in the case, especially of special events, when we have large outside groups coming in to recoup some of our costs. But we discovered we didn't have the explicit authority to do that. So there's a few amendments, but this creates an ambulance standby fee in the new section of the code. And the new fee schedule will have some proposed amounts in there to flesh this out. And it's got the new code numbers. It gets a little confusing when you're trying to, create an ordinance and you're in between codes essentially. But we used the new language and the new numbering, and we would adopt this for its second read immediately after we would adopt the code book, primarily to keep it from getting more confusing, and there are some things corrected in the new book that if we would have used the current language, it wouldn't have carried over as clearly. So I don't know if that makes sense or not. So if we go backwards to the old book and use that language,
Right.
we know
No, I
numbering,
understand
and then
that.
we
Yep.
immediately change it. Yeah, so we would have been carrying over some things that we had fixed. So this is working off of the new numbers and the new texts.
Do you have any questions, Doug?
Yeah, on section 2, which is the 152-1, paragraph B, where it says if the ambulance fee is not covered by insurance or partially covered, and the person is of low or moderate income, he or she may request a waiver of the balance due. I'm wondering if it might be better worded to take out and the person is of low or moderate income in that sentence, and add a sentence that, to the effect that inability to pay may be taken into consideration in deciding whether to waive the balance due.
Is this the way the wording currently is? in the
That's,
ordinance?
yeah, that there was no change from one
No.
code to the other.
Mayor O'Connor, if I may comment, because they used to do ambulance billing,
Mhm.
we did need to verify income in order to allow this waiver.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think that's why the wording was there. It wasn't just if a person
Is that a
claims to not
state
have
law or
ability.
something?
I don't know if it's state law, but it is the ordinance.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't based on whether they thought they were unable to pay. It was based on their income, and we looked at actual income figures from Dane County to compare. They would have to prove that they were of low income. And
Okay.
we did waive fees. It was used. but-
Based on those amounts.
Mhm. Yes.
Did you have any?
Well, okay.
I guess we could still say inability to pay, though, couldn't we?
You certainly could say,
And then you
I'm
could
just
just-
saying why it's
Right,
why
why
it's
it
worded the way it
says-
is.
yeah.
So we actually had a table we looked at with income figures.
And we would still be looking at that table?
Yes, but, yeah.
So, do you recall what percent it was, or Mark, maybe you know
How many people we waive per year?
What
No,
the-
Oh, what the dollar?
the eligibility
I don't know.
was.
I don't do the billing anymore since
Yeah.
two-
We just
since
waived one just
2010.
recently too. I can't,
So it was well,
it's.
I really don't know. It was the income figures provided in a report every year
Yeah,
that we compared it to from.
I have it because I just waived one, we just waived one last week, so.
We can do a little more investigation.
I mean, I get the
Go
number,
over
you
it.
know.
Next meeting, this isn't started for media.
No.
people, So,
Well, it's finance too, so,
Right. well, that's what I mean, at council it's not, so.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, I think we could still add, I mean, it's all a discretionary decision. There's no requirement that we waive the bill, right? If somebody's below a certain level of income,
There's not a requirement,
okay. So,
but,
because there could be situations where somebody with a higher income may have other circumstances that prevents them from being able to pay the
True.
bill.
True.
But, so let's just, you want to leave it on here?
That's what I was thinking, we
Right.
could discuss
Okay.
it next time, since
So
council
it's-
won't be voting on it till next
Yeah.
time. Can they bring forth other extenuating circumstances besides the income? Do you consider other things?
They do bring, they
As
have a lot
well.
of other supporting documentation here to look at.
And the Public Safety Committee will determine the amount of this fee? Is that what this is saying for a standby? Or does it doesn't actually,
Yeah, Public Safety Committee,
oh, I guess it's saying,
which is in line with the other, how the other ones are established.
okay.
We just wanted to take out the part at a minimum of once annually. That actually had carried over from the old code into the new code, and in looking at this again, it was suggested we just take that out. It's
saying
not
our-
like you can't, but you know, doesn't require you to.
Our ambulance fees are established by the Public Safety Committee?
With input from the billing company. The billing company does a review of fees and gives us suggestions, gives the Public Safety Committee suggestions of fees. We were really historically low compared to
Yeah,
surrounding areas, and
but I remember the council voting on that, and
Yeah.
that definitely seems, that should not be a advisory committee decision. It looks
Mhm.
like the city attorney wants to weigh in.
Yeah, thank you.
He helped with this.
The way it was set up would be that the council would still determine the transportation fee. The Public Safety Committee would determine the charges for various services applied, medicines given, that sort of thing. So it would still go to council as to the transportation charge for this, but all the sort of underlying, if you got epinephrine, how much would that cost? That would be determined by the Public Safety Committee.
And the council doesn't vote on that.
Correct. I mean, the council obviously could.
Yeah.
You could always change the ordinance, but the way it's established now, you would delegate all of that to public safety with the exception of the transportation charges.
Okay. And what happens, this is a dedicated ambulance, so it's not, then the ambulance can't be used for anything else in the city during the time that this is
That's my understanding. is-
scheduled. Chief Eckloff?
The ambulance standby fee would only be utilized in the event we're using our second ambulance.
Okay.
And a crew would be staffed for that. The primary ambulance would still be responsible for the city of Monona,
Okay.
and the two paramedics there would be required to serve the citizens of Monona.
So we'd be providing an extra crew
Correct.
for the second one, okay.
And if I could just add a little bit to the last comment.
Mhm.
The fee structure is really driven by the price of drugs. As we're all aware of the last couple of years, for instance, Narcan went from $14 a dose all the way over to $50 a dose. And it changes relatively quickly. And so I think this just gives the ability for that change to be handled quicker
Okay.
and get our costs recovered versus having to wait for, to go through the process.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Like,
Doug, did you have a-
Yeah, because this ambulance standby fee doesn't say anything about the use of supplies and medicines.
No, that's the next section. The
Right.
standby charge itself would be set, at least according to the draft ordinance by public safety. The standby charge to basically reserve the ambulance.
If the transport were to occur, the transport fee and the usage. fee,
That would be in addition to the
That's in
standby
addition,
right.
fee, and they'd still be charged for all the,
Correct. All it does is assure them that
supplies.
they'll have an ambulance at that function.
okay, okay.
Or like a high school football game.
I don't think the high school is included, but we get
Could
requests
be.
all the time for races that go through Monona.
Oh, right.
We stand by for them. Currently, we don't do that at any charge.
Okay.
I don't think the high school was included in that. We're charging one community to another, or one, government body to another body. We have it in the past, it's not my understanding.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the way it's written, it's a shall, but the requester or event organizer shall be charged, so if we don't want it to be shall, we should change it to may. So,
Yeah, I mean, you're right on the may versus shall distinction, that's for sure. I would want to avoid yes, I guess that's point well taken, although I think from just my standpoint, we're better off, there should be uniformity in the charges.
Right.
Waivers, we can certainly reach an intergovernmental agreement with other governments to waive that, but I would be hesitant to pass an ordinance that says we may charge some
Okay.
people and not charge others.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because, I would rather do that, leave it shall, and have it apply to everybody. I mean, And like you said, we could do an agreement with the school district for it, and
Okay.
so, okay,
So do you want to table this till next time to
yeah.
talk
we don't
about the
need to
wording a little
table it
more?
Here, because it's just, it's new business, so just carry it over.
Right, I'm sorry, I keep saying that. All right, next item, 6E, consideration of ordinance 10-17-691 concerning fire and EMS fees.
Okay, what we just did.
Oh, did, you're
We
right.
just
I'm
did
sorry. Okay, well then, the next item is 6F, convene in closed session under Wisconsin statute section 19.85. 1C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. This is related to an employee disciplinary action. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I will move that we go into closed session.
I will second that. All in favor, say aye.
No, there's a
Or, I'm
roll
sorry,
call.
roll call.
Yep, Mayor O'Connor,
Aye.
Alder Wood.
Aye.
We're in closed session.
You guys have to stop. Come on.
Next, item 7, acceptance of general fund accounts payable checks dated September 15th to the 28th, 2017. Documentation of invoices paid is available in the city clerk's office.
All right, I don't,
Mr. Houttaker.
there's not a lot, but just gonna hit a couple things. Move along here. Page 1, advanced disposal, just want to kind of hit on the rebate. I know it's been trending up, so like we saw in the, we'll see in the 2018 budget discussion, the rebate number, budget number will go up for revenue. Page 2, Euro Architect, the work they're doing for the library. A little bit further down there, Axley Burleson, Bill Cole's time. You can see basically 95% of that relates to TIF number 9. Page 31. Sorry. Or actually page 30. Just want to hit it. Funny Faces, just the fall festival. It's this weekend, so I just want to kind of highlighted that. So some of the entertainers for this weekend. Right above that, page 31, game time. Swings for Schluter Park and Bridge Road. A little bit further down, Hobus Pipes. And this is what's going in at Riverfront. This is part of our capital borrowing. Page 34, Lee Recreation. So here's some more park stuff at the Schluter Park. It's part of the capital, the remodel from last year. And that's actually all that I have.
Okay, any questions?
I do not have any.
I assume the Packer trading cards are for the police department?
Do you know what page it's
Is that
on?
correct? Page 37.
Well, he's shaking his head yes.
Yes,
Oh,
okay.
I figured.
I wondered about that too.
Anything else?
No.
Alderman Wood, nothing? Okay. All in favor of paying the bills, say aye.
We get a motion.
Oh, can I have a motion to pay the bills?
Move to accept the bills.
I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I say aye as well. Motion passes. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.